Hi everybody and welcome to another stream. We're here for round 1 of season 11 of Gr4, part of ISRL. Just waiting on a couple of racers. Screechy's just left the room. We've got Kebab subbing in for Hansa tonight. Foxy seems to have gone missing, as is always the case, dying to race. When it comes to racing time, he's nowhere in sight. So here we are at Catalunya for the round 1. For this season, we had a change around with the cars again. Now Nick's left the room. Everybody's running off. Don't know why, but I'm not in the party. But for this season, each racer had to pick 2 cars. Each car had to be from a different region. So you could have had American, Australian, and Asian and European. That way we can guarantee to get a nice mix-up on the track. So we have Kebab subbing for Hansa in his Ferrari, Iceberg in his 86, PB in the Jag, Paulie in the Scooby, Emperor in the Ferrari, Mew in the Lancer, Gad in the Pancake, sponsored by Pot Noodle by the looks of it, Screechy's in the Lancer. I did see Nick was in the NSX, and with the cars, we have 2 cars, use them whenever you want. Got to use each car 4 times, so it splits 4 rounds each. So welcome back to PB and to Emperor. It's been a long time. Foxy's on his way. That's good to hear. I know one person wouldn't be watching. Hat would have been very upset if Foxy wasn't about. So thankfully Foxy's on his way. So if we go through the group, we have Kebab, Iceberg, PB, Paulie in his Unicorn Racing livery cars, Emperor in a classic bit of Emperor's livery there. Hello Hat. Foxy, you're in the Megane or the Nissan? Foxy and Nick and back. If you're gonna call me nice names like that, Hat, I'm not gonna be putting any effort in. Screechy there in the Lancia. So Gad in the man, you also in the Lancia, and Nick in the NSX. I thought he was going to turn up. I'd be able to ridicule him and he wouldn't be on track. Got about a minute or 2, Foxy. Must remember to use keyboard. iceberg flowing around the track. Just come out of the lobby. How long are you going to be, Foxy? Just swap over to stop check. So we'll start off with the now regular stop check race, 1 lap, no holds barred, punt Timmy into the shadow realm as much as possible. Because unfortunately for Timmy, he always seems to start at the front of the grid. We got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. See it. Apart from Hippie, everybody's here. Hippie seems to be doing his magic tricks again. Just wait for Nick to get himself sorted. We get this stop check on the go. Oh, I'll poor Mew. I'm guessing Mew, you're on the wheel, on the pad tonight then. From what you say, there's no way you'd get out of that chair in time. So everybody's on track. Let's get this stop check on the way. And no doubt in the party everyone's going, oh purple, oh purple. Herbie, you sign, I was purple. But they all know, complaints to me, they like music. I know my audience, Mew. That's what it is. So if we go back, everyone getting them punting engines revved up. Oh, and Timmy does the classic manoeuvre and goes back and he screws Foxy good and proper. So PB leading us down to the first corner. Screechy there in second. Paulie in third. PB going really wide to avoid the punt of Screech, but Screech still managed to push him a little bit wide. And PB cut the corner and Screech went, no, I'm in first. Gave him a punt. Gad there in third. Screech again, a bit of a wiggle on. Paulie's car's got nothing left on the back, and Mew's come charging through to that tight left-hander, and Gad fighting with his car, and ends up with Screech going off track. And Foxy, after his delayed start through devious tactics by Timmy, Foxy up into second, Mew in third, and Foxy charging for the win. Little bit wide there by Foxy as they go down the back straight. and into the tight left-hand hairpin. Screech seemed to just bypass through everybody, and Muse barged his way through. We've been saying Muse become a try-hard, and he's there trying hard to be the win. Foxy's still with him. Oh, and I've cursed Muse there. Nick going comfortably in 4th place. PB in 5th, Screechy in 6th, Paulie in 7th, with Tabby in 8th, Emperor in 9th. And PB's managed to sneak his way into the lead and is going to take the victory. So PB in 3rd, Foxy in 2nd, Gad in 3rd, Mew in 4th, Screechy in 5th, Nick in 6th, Iceberg doing a bit of reversing, Emperor across the line in 9th. And it won't be the last time either, will it, Hat? This is very true. The Iceberg comes across the line in interesting fashion. So there's our result. PB with a win. Foxy in 2nd. So PB takes our victory. Quick look at those results. PB in 1st, Foxy in 2nd, Gad in 3rd, Mew in 4th, Screech in 5th, Nick in 6th, Tabby in 7th, Paulie in 8th, Emperor in 9th, Iceberg in 10th. And now we swap over to our main. And as always, Foxy's showing us his pro credentials by not turning up into the last minute, and now he's going to show us how to win the race. I'm obviously assuming that PB cut out the chicane. There, Foxy going around. And I did wonder, and I think it's going to be true, that Foxy's going to have his usual penalty troubles. He's obviously passed those skills on to his one-time Gr4 racer right, and who played with penalties. There we go, 6-minute qualifying. It's all about trying to get in as many laps as you can. And as it's qualifying, as quickly as you can. Hello, Butch. How you feeling, mate? You back to yourself now? So here we go, qualifying. Or, in Mew's case, fag break time. Who will be... Who will get out the pits first? It's looking like Iceberg's managed to sneak it out first. Emperor in second. Foxy just about in front of Gad in third. Paulie got safely in fifth. PB in sixth. Screechy makes his way out in seventh. But Timmy! So we got Mew and Nick sitting in the pits. You smirking at Benson? Or are you commenting on our conversation from last night about Merkins? It's unlike Nick to stay in the pits. Foxy's pushed Emperor and made him get a penalty. Damn that Foxy. Using his pro tactics on everybody. Shouldn't be allowed. So you got Iceberg coming around the last corner and onto the straight, start his flying lap. Foxy in second. Emperor in third. Gad in fourth. Watch Iceberg go around the first corner. It's nice to see the 8.6 back in racing. Much tighter there by Foxy. See Gad coming down now, and unfortunately for Nick, he's to come out in the middle of all the traffic with them on their flying laps. PB managed to get past Nick. Timmy with a nice clear track in front of him. Screeched nicely through there. Foxy making full use of those curbs. Possibly making a bit too much of a use of them there. The tiniest little bit of lag. Bit of lag for the slag. There is the one thing about that Megane, he does turn on rails. Pauline PB. And Mew still smoking away. Into the final chicane for Iceberg. Jumping on those sausages. And down to cross the line with a time of 154. 154.79. Foxy 153.36. Gad comes across the line with a 154, good enough for second place. PB in second with a 153.897. Paulie's across the line in fourth. And here we got Timmy. Across the line at 152.204, a second quicker than everyone else. And Screechy comes to the line with a 154. And we have Nick starting his flying lap. So Timmy straight in the pits. Foxy trying for another. He's probably fuming that Timmy has put so much time into him. PB's carried on out. And closing wrap, and Paulie drops into the pits. So we got Iceberg now in 7th place, looking to improve. Foxy in 2nd, Screechy in 4th, PB in 3rd. I think it's only shown Screechy in 4th because people being in the pits. Oh, and Foxy jacked in his lap. Iceberg now just coming into the chicane. Nice and cleanly through there. Run the last sweeping right-hander and down to the line. Has he improved on his 154? I think he might do. 154.074, good enough for 4th place. PB coming down to the line. Has he improved on his 153.897? Unfortunately he hasn't. And we have Screechy. And Nick's done him with a 155, which is good enough for 8th place. This is Screechy at the moment in 5th place. He's come flying down to the line. 154.896. So our grid. Tabby on pole. Foxy in 2nd. PB in 3rd. Iceberg in 4th. Screechy in 5th. Gad in 6th. Paulie in 7th. Nick in 8th. Emperor in 9th. And Mew in 10th place. And as we wait for the time to roll down, just to give you a bit of the race info for tonight's race. 16 laps, tyres that both have to be used, racing mediums and racing hards. Tyre wears on time 6, and as voted by the racers, fuel will be time 6 for the whole season, and tonight's starting fuel is 80%. And I must say, some nice looking liveries, even though they're not essential for this season. And we just wait for time to roll down. Oh no, Screech. Maybe you need to do a bit of practice. Might make you a bit slower. And the question is, by the first corner, you could even be leading in that Lancer. The way that comes off a line. So there we go, qualifying is over. Timmy on pole. So 16 laps of Catalunya. So we're at that pro front line of Timmy and Foxy. So we see how this Lancer goes over. And look at that. And in fact, Paulie got the jump on Screech. Paulie already up into 4th place. And Gad's had a pretty good start, he's into 5th. As we come down to T1. Poor Screech has been mucked back into 6th. Coming under pressure from Iceberg. But Tabby clearly in the lead. Foxy in 2nd, PB in 3rd. Paulie, cracking start by Paulie there, he's up to 4th place. Coming under massive pressure from Gad, who tries to go the long way around. It hasn't worked. Now Screechy, oh. Three abreast was not going to work, and that's really, Screechy really lost out there. PB making the move on Foxy. So PB's gone out with the mediums for the first lap, for the first stint. Well, it looks like most other people. Iceberg's on the softs, well, the mediums, I apologise. And now Emperor's looking to make the move on Screechy. And Mew's on the mediums. Tabby! Cruising along in first, PB in second. Foxy in third. Gad leading out of Gaggle. Nick's had a cracking start. Way back on the grid. Already up and making the move for 5th place on the grid. Again, he's on the mediums, Paulie's on the hards, so he will be able to. And now Iceberg coming under pressure from Screechy in his Lancer. We're moving for an Emperor at the back. Gad's now dropping back down. Now Iceberg really coming under pressure from Screech. Screech looking to try and do the cutback along that long sweeping right-hander. Nick now up into 4th place. Paul even about dropping back into 5th. Gad in 6th. Iceberg there in 7th. Nothing separating these 5 cars. With these tight corners, the 8.6 should be good. But whenever there's a reasonable bit of straight, it's going to come unstuck. But as long as he's in the slipstream, oh, Nick's managed to pick up a penalty. So that's going to scupper his brilliant start to the race. Nick goes from 4th to 8th, all down to half-second penalty. Gad and Paulie having a little bit of contact, which is now allowing the door out for Iceberg to come back. And Nick's already trying to get around the outside of Screechy. Paulie's been girted there, but he held his place. Oh! Timmy picks up a penalty, which is going to allow PB to come flying past and take the lead. So we have PB leading it out. Timmy in 2nd. Foxy in 3rd. Gad in 4th. Iceberg in 5th. And Nick already coming back. He's back up to 6th and challenging for 5th. And then we've got the battle of the Lancers between Paulie and Screechy, side by side. Or Screechy may be having some internet issues. And Emperor and Mew still battling together. PB's actually putting some time into Tamar. Gad's. And Iceberg's made his move past Nick. Nick's tyres can't be going off just yet. We're only on lap 3 of 16. So Iceberg already up into 5th place. Gad having a cracking race in 4th. Got 2.7 seconds to catch on Foxy for 3rd. It's all to play for. And at the moment, Screechy's got the battle of the Lancers in his favour in 7th place. Starting to settle down a bit. Gad there in the pancake, with Iceberg all over the back of him. To what? This tight little complex. Gad went very deep. May have been a little bit of contact, which is why Iceberg hasn't made the move. So onto the straight. So these pair fighting, it's allowing Gad to next to catch up. And the rest of the field not too far behind. PB still leading it out, but Tebby has got that magnet attached and he's slowly drawing his way in. And Foxy is there in third. But Gad and Iceberg are starting to slowly wind him in. From 2.7 down to 2.5. It looks like Nick may have had some issues. Went very wide, Screech went through on the inside. Nick just turned in and didn't realise Screechy was there alongside him. So he had a little off. PB still leading it out. But Taba in second. Foxy in third. And now the gap has grown out. Have Gad and Iceberg been having a look? Yeah, it looks like there may have been a bit of contact between these two. And Iceberg doing the correct thing and letting Gad back through. But this has allowed Screechy and Paulie to start closing up. And if you Muse made his way past Emperor on lap 4. Coming up to start lap 5. Tabby's managed to pick up another penalty, which is now giving PB some clear space. With Foxy in third. And they are starting to close up on him now again. Gap step down to 2.6. Possibly that's because Gad's got some breathing room between him and Iceberg. Not a lot, but he's got some. Screechy now, starting to close in on Iceberg. Got Screechy in 6th, Paulie there in 7th, Nick in 8th, who's having a complete, I don't know if he's having wheel or pedal problems, but Mew going along crackingly in 9th place. And from what he said earlier, he's buttock clenching as he's doing it. And Emperor there in 10th, going along calmly and serene. PB coming up to the end of lap 5, still with a 2-second lead over Tebby in second, who's got 6 seconds over Foxy. And Foxy now is going to be starting to look over his shoulder because he's got Gad. And in fact Gad is actually putting a push in now. He did promise us that he was going to be trying his hardest this, well, he's going to be challenging for the races now. Iceberg went a little bit wide there, which allowed Gad to have a bit more. And it's picked up a penalty for doing it. So now Iceberg is going to lose his 5th place to 6th. In fact, he will drop down into 7th because Paulie, who's firmly behind Screechy, it's almost like the Battle of the Lancers. Foxy cruising along. That little section, he's starting to open the gap back up. Tebby is starting to get back up to PB. PB's medium's looking very ragged. It's starting to be a little bit ragged now. Gad's just cruising along. Screechy there in 5th. Paulie in 6th. Iceberg in 7th. And Emperor now in 8th place, Mew in 9th. And it looks like Nick's dropped out. Can't see why, but for some reason. Just obviously wasn't feeling it tonight. So PB still leading it out. As you come up to the end of lap 7, as you go through the chicane and onto the start-finish straight. Just over a second gaps of Timmy, not in that slipstream, but does set the fastest lap of 1:53.642. And Foxy is settled down. He puts in his fastest lap of the race. With Gad there in 4th place. Iceberg's picked up another little penalty, and Paulie, which is going to allow Screechy to get some. But Screechy's medium's looking very ragged. Gad is on him. Very nearly on an empty tank of fuel. So the one thing we can say about that Citroen, must be a thirsty bugger. Because Timmy now is getting into that slipstream. Again to the slight uphill section. It's sweeping corners. Question is, when will PB come in? Timmy goes wide. He's headed to the hairpin. Looking like he's trying to go for the tighter line. Just not close enough at that point. So start piling the pressure in. Foxy's actually pulling out the gap onto Gad now. Gad's settled down. Screechy going along nicely in 5th. Paulie in 6th. With Iceberg in close attendance. And Emperor there going along nicely in 8th. With Mew in 9th. So PB and Timmy both into the pits. And Foxy follows them in. With Gad also. Screechy's carrying on for another lap. Paulie's into the pits. And Iceberg, he's also stayed out. Emperor stayed out as well. So has Mew. So while the others in the pit stops, Screechy, Iceberg, Emperor and Mew, and we're still trying to put a flying lap in. Timmy's having his car filled up, so his PB's off. Timmy's come out behind him. So PB, not entirely a full tank. So at the moment, Screechy going round, definitely be coming in this lap. So will be Iceberg, Emperor, who we have to remember he's on the hard tyres. Possibly got another lap of fuel. Mew will be coming in. PB's leading out with a second gap over Timmy. So well, our track positions are a bit mixed up at the moment due to pit stops and non-pit stops. Paulie, Screech, and into the pits goes Screech, with Iceberg following close behind. Emperor just finishing, coming through the chicane. and into the pits, and Mew with him. So Emperor came in with the most fuel. Will that be enough? And on that outlap, Timmy firmly in that slipstream. Remember, PB's on the hard tyres, Timmy's on the mediums. Timmy's going for the inside for T1. Side by side, let's go. It's quite fairly through. So Gad's out of Screechy's come back out in 5th place. And in fact, Iceberg's managed to jump out in front of Paulie. Remember, Screechy and Iceberg both on the hard, while Paulie's going to be on the mediums. And has already got those tyres up to temperature by doing a lap. And he is making the move back on Iceberg. Got the inside for this corner. So Paulie, nice manoeuvre up into 6th place. And already, Timmy opened up a 1 second gap on PB. Foxy, who's now also on the mediums, possibly pushing to try and catch them up. Gad, he's firmly in no man's land, 5 seconds between him and any other racer. Gad's onto the mediums. Screechy there in 5th. He's got a rampantly charging Paulie, trying to close up. Come down to the final corners. Start lap 10. And Timmy absolutely charging. Did PB pick up a penalty? Timmy just absolutely charging. Sugar-coated Iceberg. Looks like Screechy's feeling comfortable on those hard tyres because he's not allowing Paulie to catch up. But that could be because Paulie's now coming under. He's now got Iceberg put in his slipstream. Probably making him have to go a little bit defensive. And Foxy's definitely catching up on PB. PB's not as comfortable on those hard tyres. Like Timmy, who's on his mediums. And Foxy on the mediums is probably starting to catch up. Gad's dropping back a bit. Screechy going along nicely in 5th. Paulie in 6th. Iceberg in 7th. Mew there in 8th. And Emperor in 9th. Obviously, I can only assume he's double pitted. And Timmy! 1:52.373. This is a scary time. He's putting 3 seconds a lap into PB. And in fact, Foxy now only 7 seconds down on PB. Got there in 4th, who's started to open the gap up on Screechy. We were starting to get some pressure from Paulie, but Paulie managed to pick up a little penalty. I don't think Iceberg's going to be close enough. Paulie's managed to get back in front, and as they go into the corner, so Iceberg may be carrying a little bit more speed than Paulie. we know the Lancer is pretty good on the corners, like the 8.6. We're only lap 11 of 12 of 16. I apologise. Kebab on an absolute tear. PB now. PB's got to be careful. Good 5 laps to go. Foxy's got the scent now. Foxy might be getting bigger and bigger in those rear view mirrors of PB. Could be coming under some pressure. What a pro Foxy is. Turns up late. I'm going to get a podium. Got there in 4th. Firmly in no man's land. Paulie's managed to keep Iceberg at a safe distance and is slightly gaining on Screechy. He was in 5th place. The Battle of the Lancers. We come to start lap 12 of 16 through the Mew going along in 8th place, and in fact Iceberg, the Emperor, is starting to close. He's took 5 seconds out of that gap between him and Mew. And Foxy is Timmy. He's just gone. No catching him now. But PB now. Only 5 seconds in front of Foxy. 2nd place could be looking to be coming under pressure. Screechy's maintaining that gap between him and Paulie. Not gaining on gap, but not losing time. Paulie bringing Iceberg along in 7th. Mew in 8th. 20. Mew really is in no man's land, but he has got Emperor trying to catch him back up. Foxy now only 3 seconds back on PB. I don't know what this pit crew did to his PB's car, but it absolutely destroyed it. It really does not like those hard tyres. Just that jig. Come to start lap 13 of 16. So 4 laps to go. It's got a 4-second gap between him and Foxy. And it looks like the start-finish straight is the only place where he managed to hold his own. And in fact Paulie has put a push in. So with having Iceberg behind him, forcing Paulie to push. And they are starting to gain a bit on Screechy. Paulie's tyres are starting to look a bit ragged. Screechy's have barely been touched. That's the joy of the hard tyres. And in fact Gad is going along nicely in 4th in the pancake. Foxy! 4 seconds. But this is coming up to the section where he'll probably start chipping away at that gap. Heading down to the hairpin, and there we go. 1/4 of a second gone in those few corners. Heavy apply of the brakes there by Foxy. To the second little bit of an uphill section. And this is where he's absolutely tearing a hole in that gap of PBs. Just only 3 more laps to go. And that final section of the course, he takes a second out of PB and onto the start-finish straight. This is where PB can open up the jag to try and eke out as much as he can. Got there, going and stacking. Poorly, coming massive pressure from Iceberg onto the start-finish straight. The only thing with the 86 just hasn't got the power, but he is having a look. He's trying to make use of the slingshot. He's going to have the inside for the corner. Will he get it stopped? No. So Paulie comes flying straight back into 6th place. But this is all in Screechy's favour. Mew there. Still holding firmly with Emperor now, only 18 seconds back. But it's this battle for second. Kebab on lap 14. Clear track in front and behind him. PB now only 2 seconds in front of Foxy. And so Foxy's got his magnet out now. .8 seconds back on PB. This could be a very interesting last couple of laps. Paulie's managed. Paulie again pushing to try and catch up with Screech. We go back to Foxy as we come into the chicane. 1.9 seconds back. One more lap and I think he'll be in slipstream range. 0.7. What can PB eke out of it down the straight? Gain about 1/10 of a second. So it's sweeping corner. And this is where Foxy starts drawing back in. Iceberg having another try as they come to the first corner. Just about manages to get it stopped this time. But Paulie may come straight back at him. Much tighter line by Paulie. He's got the inside for the moment, but Iceberg's going to have the inside for it. And I forgot what corner. And Iceberg does the cut back under. Some cracking racing between these two. Oh, that was maybe a bit too tight by Paulie there. And now Foxy's just squeezing his way into that slipstream zone. We'll see if Paulie's got any response back for Iceberg. God, middle of nowhere. Fox is absolutely driving along at a tear. A little bit tail happy, but he's got it back under control. We're coming up to start the final lap. Just outside that slipstream zone at the moment. And we have Kebab already through T1, T2 and on T3. But it's this battle for second. Foxy's done some brilliant driving to take in that 9 second, well, it was a 10-second gap after the pit stops. But now we're coming into the section of the track where he should have the better speed than PB. Admittedly, his tyres are a bit worn. But Foxy's a pro. He knows how to make the best out of those tyres. And you can tell he's pushing. The car's light but not much fuel in. But he's running out of corners. Got got this straight firmly in that. Is he? I don't think he's close enough to do it on the chicane, on the hairpin. Looking to go for a tight line. Side by side they go. Up to the final couple of corners. And as Timmy comes around the final straight, final corner, take the line and the win into the chicane. But PB was sweating for those last couple of laps. Foxy's got a nice drive out. Will he get him on the line? And the Jag just holds her. I thought that may have been the case. Screechy. Looks like he's just going to be able to hold off Iceberg. Gad comes across the line in 4th place. Screechy taking a brilliant 5th place. Started where he finished. Iceberg over in 6th. Paulie comes to the line in 7th. Mew there in 8th. And Emperor in 9th. Mew driving it like he stole it. And there we go. Timmy with a win. Cool. No worries, Nick. I hope they do get sorted, mate. So there we go. Timmy, pole position, fastest lap, and the victory. Save the replay. Quick look at the results. Timmy with a win. PB in 2nd. Foxy in 3rd. Gad in 4th. Screech in 5th. Iceberg in 6th. Paulie in 7th. Mew in 8th. Emperor in 9th. Nick in 10th, who had pedal issues, so I had to drop out. So now we just swap over to our Marmite race. We'll have a 5-minute break. As I say, tonight's Marmite GT by Citroen N500. And Paulie in a Bounty livery. Mew in a demonic looking car. Gad work driving a fairly funky one. Foxy leaves the room. He is, isn't he? It's a very funky looking interior. Oh, that'd freak me out. I couldn't cope with that. And by the looks of it, this car is very twitchy. Certainly could probably do quite well in it. Good race, Screech. Well done, mate. Mew sporting Marmite. Screech in his usual Marmite red and blue. now, because Foxy left the room, and now Timmy leaves the room, I get the pleasure of setting the grid. That's not right. So now we're down to 9. Got about a minute to go. As in always with Marmite, for this season there are some little bits of change. 8 laps, tyre wear is times 6, fuel is times 5. Just wait for Timmy to get on grid, so I can then just check the time. So we have the race in 1 minute. As soon as Timmy gets it, obviously Timmy had to go and buy the car. And just for everyone's information, because I don't think anyone's actually realised, we'll be racing next week, but then it's a week off, for the simple reason it's my birthday, and more importantly it's wifey's birthday, and more than my life's worth to be racing when it's wife's birthday. And always with Marmite, reverse grid, rolling start. I have Screech, I've had too many. I wish I hadn't had so many. But not much I can do about that. Question is, I think that might be okay. Let's just see where Timmy will start. I think that might all now. Mid chicane for Timmy. And away we go. Nick leading us off on our first lap of 8. Emperor in second. Paulie already made his way past Mew, and in fact Mew didn't get any. I hope he lifts off, otherwise that's going to be a nice penalty he picks up there. Already Screechy closing up on them. Nick leading it out with Paulie in second, Iceberg in third, Emperor in fourth, Mew in fifth, Screechy in sixth, Gad looking on the inside of Mew. I think Screech lost it a little bit there. Looks like Screech is going to lose sixth, Gad. And then Screech is going to have it back. Emperor dropping back. Mew's getting back under control. Nick leading it out from Paulie in second. Iceberg in third. Mew in fourth. Screechy in fifth. Gad in sixth. Emperor in seventh. Fuchsie in eighth. Ninth, sorry. Tame in seventh. PB. He's gone off to have a look at the scenery. Nick and Paulie showing everyone a clear set of hills. Nick gone on the mediums, Paulie on the super soft, Iceberg there in third on the mediums, Screechy in fourth on the softs, Gad in fifth on the softs, Tama in sixth already on the softs, Mew there in seventh on the mediums, Foxy, super softs for Foxy. Emperor there in 9th, PB in 10th. Nick now starting to gap out. No, Paulie seems to pull him back in. But the top three are pulling away. And Screech is leading out Gad. Different line by Gad there. Screech comes over and goes, "This is my racing line. You will not be able to pass it." Through the few sweeping corners. Screeching using as much of the track as he possibly can. Timmy just sitting there in 6th. Just watching what's going on. Foxy in 7th. Battling it out with Mew. Oh, Mew. Foxy fighting it. Gad connecting up to Screechy's bumper. Head down to the hairpin. Screech moving across for the racing line. Leaving that door open, but then slams it shut on Gad. And now Gad has to be careful. Kebab is there, ready to take that 5th spot. Already on nearly 2 laps in. Can we see where Paulie made the move? Paulie made the move, made it stick coming through the hairpin. Fair play to Paulie. So Paulie, after 2 laps, Paulie is leading. Nick in 2nd, Iceberg in 3rd, Screechy in 4th, Gad in 6th. Tame is in 5th place. Using the slipstream to power his way past Gad. And now got Screechy firmly in his sight. Foxy! Interesting line by Foxy there. In 7th. PB in 8th. Mew in 9th. Emperor there in 10th. So on lap 3, Paulie still leading Nick. These two just building out a nice lead. Iceberg and Screechy being pushed along by Kebab. He's closing up on him. Iceberg going for the mediums. Screech there on the softs. Regular trick with these Marmite cars. The harder tyres are for parents. Kebab swings out wide. Side by side into the hairpin. Screech much later on the brakes, takes a Herbie line, and ends up coming out in 6th place and goes back up into 5th. Paulie leading out as they come to start lap 4 through the chicane. Paulie having a brilliant race, Nick there in 2nd. Iceberg a bit lonely in 3rd, but now we'll have Timmy charging after him. Gad in 5th, Screechy in 6th, Foxy in 7th, picking up a cheeky penalty. PB there in 8th, you in 9th, and Emperor in 10th. And in fact, Paulie making use of their super soft. Just trying to gap out Nick in 2nd, and Iceberg in 3rd. Not really closing on the front 3, but now he's got a charge in Timmy. Timmy's bringing Gad and Screech along with him, with Foxy not massively behind. I do wonder whether he's cheating the corners. I won't put it past the geezer. Won't be a geezer if we try to do some tricks. And Mew there in 9th, with Emperor in 10th. Emperor not far behind Mew, so going to keep him honest. But Paulie flying along, his Bounty Tissues livery. More expect that to be on a Foxy car, because super absorbency. And Iceberg unfortunately picked up a penalty. Just going to allow Timmy to close up on him. Obviously there's nowhere at the moment for him to get rid of that penalty. But Gad holding on to the tail of Timmy. And now Screech. Don't know where Foxy was going there. Whoa. Not sure what was going on with Foxy's car there. So Foxy and PB both into the pits, so we start lap 5. Paulie, he's driving it on. Fair play to you, Paulie. But those tyres are dying. Timmy's made the move on Iceberg. In fact, guys, Timmy. It looked like Iceberg tried to make the move back. Timmy up into 3rd place. 3 laps to go. Foxy now come out to the pits. Paulie, in fact Nick. Nick's gonna have to come into pit this lap. Timmy, just under half a tank of petrol left. Slowly, buddy. And now Iceberg got Gad all over his rear bumper. Both with half a tank of fuel. Screechy there in 6th place. Mew in 7th. Emperor in 8th. PB in 9th. And Foxy in 10th. Both of them after their pit stop. Wow. Did Paulie have some sort of problem? I think it may be those tyres have died on him. So Paulie into the pits, Nick into the pits, and Timmy is into the lead. With Iceberg in 2nd, Gad in 3rd, Screechy in 4th. If we have a look at the tyres, look, Timmy's tyres. Gad and Iceberg battling it out into T1. Iceberg's keeping him back. Screechy there in 4th place. Emperor now up into 5th, with Mew in 6th. Paulie just coming out of the pits now. Will Paulie get out in front? He does get out in front of PB. So does Nick. So after those pit stops, PB and Foxy haven't managed, and now Timmy with a 4.5 second with Gad and Iceberg having a right old ding dong battle on lap 6 of 8. Iceberg got the inside, but Gad's managed to hold it. With these battling is allowing Screechy to close up through the hairpin. Much cleaner line by Iceberg, it looked there. GRTs roll in the front of the grid. Iceberg having a look. Gad shuts the door into the chicane to start the penultimate lap. Iceberg firmly in that slipstream. What do you do? What to Gad? What Tamay has done? Gad's gone out all defensive, so Iceberg going for the outside. Gad's kept it. Well, Iceberg looked to do the cutback, thinking about it, just not close enough, and Emperor into the pits. Screechy only 2.3 seconds back. Timmy with the fastest lap. Gad on those soft tyres which are dead. Iceberg on his medium which is still fairly well. To the left-hander. Gad's tyres are R-toes. Screechy there in 4th. Paulie in 5th. Nick in 6th. He's about to be mugged by PB and Foxy. Emperor in 9th. Not for 2 weeks yet, Mew. And with me looking back. So Iceberg obviously got a little bit tail happy by Gad there. Oh, and obviously Gad had to burn off a penalty, which allowed Iceberg through. I thought you liked them bizarre cars. So Timmy on his final lap with Iceberg in 2nd, Gad in 3rd, Screechy in 4th, Paulie in 5th, Nick in 6th, PB in 7th, Foxy in 8th, Emperor in 9th, and Mew retiring. And I knew it. Gad, nice gap back. I can only assume Gad he managed to get it stopped. And look at these pairs, still side by side. Iceberg's going to have the inside line. Little bit of contact between them. Gad forced his way back through. So Iceberg back down into 3rd place. And if these two keep fighting, it's going to allow Screechy to close up. Fellow Gr4 teammates. Into the hairpin. Iceberg looking for the cut back in. Gad just timed it right to close the door in both directions. Fair bit of contact there as they swing around that as they come up to the chicanes. Iceberg's elbowed his way back in front. And Timmy takes the win. through the chicane. Get firmly behind Iceberg. Is he close enough to use the slingshot? Iceberg takes the line in second, Gad in third, Screechy in fourth. Paulie just finishing off, coming through the chicane to take fifth place. And there's Paulie across the line in fifth. Nick's kept PB behind him. He's coming to take sixth. And PB in seventh. Emperor in front of Foxy to take eighth. Down to the line, these old teammates. And Gr4 veterans, both of them. Across the line for Emperor in 8th, Foxy there in 9th. So there we go. Timmy with the win again. Did he get fastest lap as well? I thought he did. It's not saying he has, so we'll have a quick look. No, PB got the fastest lap in the end, robbing Timmy of that extra point. So we have Timmy with a win, Iceberg in second, Gad in third, Screechy in fourth, Paulie in fifth, Nick in sixth, PB in seventh, Emperor in 8th, Foxy in 9th, and Mew there in 10th. Just quickly save the replay. Rage quit the lobby. Thank you all for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a like. And I know most, if you're not subscribed, please think about it. Again, thanks for watching, and I will see you all Sunday night for Gr3. It's alright, Nick, these things happen, mate. Not a problem. Have a great weekend, everyone, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.